Hello, everyone, and welcome to the City Club of Cleveland. My name is Eric Wipser. I'm chair of the City Club New Leaders who are presenting today's event. Today's event, the Urban Decor as a Talent Attractor, is sponsored by the Downtown Cleveland Alliance and is the third of 4 panels on the importance of downtown Cleveland to the health of our regional economy. Today's topic is near and dear to my heart because I moved back to Cleveland in 2005 out of law school. And one of the things I really noticed for the first time when I was in law school were that most of my classmates were making a decision on where to apply for jobs based on where they wanted to live as opposed to the firm that they wanted to work for. And so that was the first time that it really was driven home to me how important the brand of the city in which you live is to attracting talent for every company or every neighborhood in the region. And so excuse me, and I made a decision like my classmates based on the city where I wanted to live. That city just happened to be Cleveland. My wife and I settled. We rented an apartment in Ohio City. We liked it so much that we ended up buying a home a year later. And what we really love is the access that it provides us to downtown and entertainment and everything else. And so if cities are going to be more and more important to where people choose to work, our companies and today's panel are going to have to are going to be discussing the strategies that we need to utilize to make sure that people know the well-kept secrets that Cleveland has, like its downtown, like its Ohio City's Tremonts and Shaker Squares. So I'm really interested to hear from them today. Today's moderator, Mike McIntyre, began writing for the Plain Dealer in 1990, a sort of homecoming after having spent years delivering the paper as a child and seeding his college fund by selling subscriptions over the phone as a teenager. A native of Northeast Ohio, Mike McIntyre has written Tip-Off, a twice-weekly Metro column, for the past 7 years. He resides in Rocky River with his wife Elizabeth, the Plain Dealer's assistant managing editor for content, and their 2 children. Mike is a graduate of the Bowling Green State University. I now turn to Mike to introduce our panelists.
Thank you very much, Eric. Good afternoon, everybody. That's right, I went to Bowling Green, which I explained was the Harvard of Wood County. And I hope one day to be able to say I went to the Cleveland State of Wood County, as that continues to get better and better. I'd like to introduce our panelists today to have a discussion about the urban core and its importance to attracting talent, much like yourself, to Cleveland. And we'll start with the man directly to my right. This is Dan Barry. Dan is the Senior Vice President of Organizational Advancement for the Greater Cleveland Partnership. And as you might have read in today's Plain Dealer, he's also recently been named the President of Magnet, which is the Manufacturing Advocacy and Growth Network. And Dan was saying a little bit later, I don't know whether I need congratulations or condolences for biting off so much, but welcome, Dan. Also, to Dan's right is David DeBord, an associate from Jones Day, the law firm, mega law firm in the city of Cleveland. And David handles antitrust litigation as well as general litigation for Jones Day. And to David's right is Chris Seper, former colleague of mine, who I know way too much about. But I won't share any of that with you. Chris left the paper recently to innovate and go off on his own. He started a news service called MedCity News, which deals with the innovation of medicine and the coverage of the medical industry in the city of Cleveland. And also, when he first came to the Plain Dealer, a downtown dweller as well. And I might add that David also lives downtown. We're in his neighborhood right now. So let's begin with Dan. Dan, if you would, can you just lay out for us what it is our topic is today as it relates to this discussion? What does the Alliance need to do? What do people that believe in Cleveland need to do in order to sell the city as the magnet, the downtown core as the magnet for bringing in people that want to work to this town?
Well, thanks, Mike. Just a couple of general observations as I home in on your question. One, we've all heard over the past decade about the talent wars that are taking place, that increasingly talent is the competitive asset that companies are looking for when they decide where they're going to be. And while the recession has maybe led to a bit of quiet on the front for the moment, there's still a fundamental issue that has to do with becoming a place that can be attractive to talent such that we're able to attract jobs and retain jobs for the region. So from the individual perspective, the talent we're trying to reach, downtown, the urban core, is first and foremost a place to work. There are about 146,000 jobs in downtown Cleveland, so it is the major center of employment in our region. It is also a place to live. Downtown Cleveland is fighting the general trend of population loss in this region. It is one of the few neighborhoods that has experienced employment or population growth in the past couple of decades, and that's continuing even in the face of the recession to gain pace. And then finally, from the perspective of the talent we're trying to attract and retain, downtown is a place to have fun. It's a place to network. It's a place to recreate and to grow. These are all things that the kind of younger segment of the talent population is interested in. So as we look at what this community ought to be doing, it can kind of take those three tracks. How do we make it a better place to work, a better place to live, and a place to have fun and network? So, and we're doing good things. As we get into the discussion, we can talk a bit more about them, and we've actually, this community is making a great deal of progress that we can talk about. So the other factor on talent is from the company perspective and the role of downtown. Downtown is both the primary hub of business activity in this region, and it's also the symbol of how a community is doing in terms of vitality and opportunity. So our businesses, even if they're not located in the core city themselves, really look to a vibrant downtown as a critical piece in their efforts to attract talent.
It's an interesting point, David DeBord from Jones Day. You recruit a lot of associates to come and work for your law firm. It's an interesting point that the downtown still means so much, because you might hear some people say downtowns are dead, that really businesses are spread across a region, that there's so much telecommuting and using your computer, and it isn't certainly like our parents' day when downtown was such a hub for employment. How do you find downtown playing into your recruiting efforts for people that are really students that are across the country?
Yeah, as you said, Mike, we recruit like most law firms do across the United States, and we're looking for the top talent from the top schools. We recruit very heavily in Ohio and in the great law schools that we have here in the city, but we don't always get those people. They're also looking to go other places, other types of law, other cities, other firms. So we expand our efforts everywhere. The law firm recruiting model is usually to go on campus and interview a list of candidates there and hold what's basically a mini job fair. Then bring the candidates back that you want to interview into the city and interview them in the office. They spend a day or half a day. And when we bring people back, I've gone to various schools such as NYU and Vanderbilt and Duke and Virginia. But when we bring people back, they fly into Hopkins, they get into a cab. We actually have a cab driver who drives them around some of the neighborhoods in town and downtown, and he's been doing it for years. He drove me around when I flew into Cleveland to do this, and shows them downtown. But what they see, for the most part, is the path from the airport to 71, if they're not otherwise familiar with the city. So downtown really is their first impression.